Well, let's go to the Olympics. I want to talk about the Olympics with you because that's one thing that you got that's unique that not a lot of guys have. You got a chance to represent the U.S. in 2016. Where does that week rank for you in terms of like most memorable weeks of your life?
Yeah, we won't really talk about the golf or where I finished, but
leave that out. I don't really care about that part.
Yeah, as far as experience, I mean, because like as a golfer growing up, I mean, everyone, whether you're an athlete or not, watch the Olympics. You know, it's exciting to watch. It's every 4 years. Well, if you're watching winter and summer, you got it every 2 years. But it's a, iconic event, historic, going back as far as you want to go. But it's the Olympics. Like, you watch opening ceremonies, see everyone walk, everyone represent their country. So for me, I wish I would have been able to experience the whole 2 weeks. But we were playing the first week, and I had to get back to play the second back in the U.S. So I got to walk in opening ceremonies, and that's, a dream come true of basically a dream that I was never able to have because golf wasn't there. You always thought like it'd be awesome to be able to walk opening or closing or be at the Olympics, but golf was not an option. And I'm not fast enough. I can't jump high enough. I can't do any of the other Olympic sports good enough. So to be able to experience that, to thinking back when I was a kid watching the Olympics, like, man, that must be pretty special. It's really cool, but I don't think golfers or in our space are able to really, like, truly appreciate the Olympics. From, my wife, Allison, being a pole vaulter and a true Olympic sport, the Olympics was like the absolute pinnacle of her sport to other sports, track sports and stuff like that. So I can't even imagine, what it's like for someone in, like track and field or some other sports that have been an Olympic sport forever to have that as a dream growing up and train for that forever and ever. And then that 4-year window of your time comes and you get to do that. It's something that we can't really appreciate.
Can you tell me about the Olympic Village? I'm very fascinated by the Olympic Village. What is that like? Is that like college dorms, but just with the best athletes on the planet?
Basically, U.S. they were basically like high-rise condos. So the U.S. had their own just because of how many athletes we had down there. A handful of other countries shared. Some were shared by like 2, some are shared by 6 or 7 countries. But it literally is a village. And go down, you have a big gym where everyone can train at. Went in there a few times, like some golf movement and stuff. I looked pretty around. Cool. Yeah. Looked pretty cool when I've got like
Usain Bolt,
a chick over here just deadlifting a lot more than what I weigh and what I'm doing. I'm just doing this movement stuff. I'm like, Troy, my trainer that was down there, I was like, let's just wrap it up and go.
We'll finish this later. Yeah, I feel pretty good.
It was really cool because you've got everyone walking around there. It's basically just athletes, trainers, and people involved with the team. And where I had some of the most fun was just in the like dining hall. I mean, it's weird to call it like a dining hall, but you walk in the middle, they're scanning everyone's passes, and from the middle split, it's about probably 400 yards wide and about 100 yards deep, and you've got the like identical buffet going both ways from food from all over the world. And hey,
Frankie.
So I walked in opening ceremonies with basically all of our dive team for the U.S., and so I got to become good friends with a lot of them and went and watched them a decent amount, and a lot of us would eat together throughout the week, and we just go in there, hang out, grab food, meet at a table, and you've got hundreds of other athletes eating around you. So it was just crazy to see how big it was, how many people, how many athletes. I remember we'd always grab Fruit Loops for dessert, crush some Fruit Loops, and head out.
Nice. Do you mingle with other like countries? Or do you strictly stay with the U.S.? Or are you hanging out with did you get to meet any big athletes from other countries?
A little bit. Some countries there's some language barriers. It was pretty cool to have other athletes that are golf fans and come up, say hi, and talk a little bit. But it felt like, in a way, a lot of the countries, or I wouldn't say necessarily teams or disciplines, were everyone would kind of hang together and do their own thing. But you're all in a big old tent, hanging out, eating food. So you cross paths a decent amount.
Is it something you want to qualify for another team? Is that a big goal of yours?
It is, but I got a lot of work to do.
Well, that's beside the
No,
point.
it would definitely be something that I wouldn't miss if I had the opportunity to do it again.